What is happening in the House right now? Could the stimulus bill be affected by this? The U.S. government is set to eliminate more than $4.8 billion in student debt for borrowers with permanent disabilities. This is a new wave of student debt forgiveness by the Biden administration. We'll go over this in just a little while. And lastly, President Biden has just announced that they will not seek to extend enhanced $300 unemployment benefits. Unemployment aid has been a huge help for millions of Americans since it started. So what's going to be the situation now? We're going to discuss all of these and more in today's video, so definitely stick around to the end. But first, I just want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the family that we've built here, and I hope you guys are doing very well today. For those who are brand new to the channel, my name is Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, cryptocurrencies, stock market updates, and of course, stimulus check updates and stimulus package updates. So if you have not already, hit that notification bell, join the family, and also tap the notification bell so you're notified as soon as I release new videos and content. And I just want to send my thoughts and prayers out to all of the families who have been affected. My sister-in-law, Jen, has just recently been admitted to the hospital, and my thoughts and prayers are out to her. We're praying that she pulls through on this one. All right, so I wanted to share something with you guys really quickly. Have you ever watched the movie Terminator? You know, the movies with the machines that hunt down the people with big, massive weapons, and they're just, people left and right in that movie? Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous quote, "I'll be back." Remember that now? What if I told you that new tech has been revealed, which looks like the first steps toward these? I'm not kidding, guys. I present to you the Tesla bot. Tesla CEO Elon Musk on Thursday unveiled a humanoid robot called the Tesla bot that runs on the same AI used by Tesla's fleet of autonomous vehicles. A functioning version of the robot did not make an appearance during Musk's reveal, though a slightly bizarre dance by a performer dressed like a Tesla bot did. The unexpected reveal came at the end of Tesla's AI Day presentation, with Elon Musk providing few details about the slightly creepy Slender Man-like robot beyond a few PowerPoint slides. The 5'8" robot is expected to weigh in at about 125 pounds and be built from lightweight materials, he said. So Elon Musk and Tesla have done it again. Although they have just presented a concept work for now, this Tesla bot seems like it could be a massive step toward innovation in AI and robots. Kind of scary a little bit. This robot will be just as tall as the average person and also just as heavy. Let's just hope it's not as intelligent as we are. It will in fact be kitted out with autopilot cameras and a Tesla full self-driving computer though. And it's intended to be friendly, Elon Musk joked, and navigate through a world built for humans. A friendly humanoid robot will be interesting, but also weird. I mean, just imagine walking past this robot while you've gone for a walk outside your neighborhood. Elon Musk also made sure to point out that you could both outrun the Tesla bot and overpower it. He has in the past railed against the use of robots as weapons and warned against the risks that AI might pose, once calling it the biggest risk we face as a civilization. Thankfully, the Tesla bot will be light and easy to overpower, so our safety is hopefully guaranteed here. However, the question is, what is the purpose of this new robot? For now, Elon Musk said that the robot would be able to handle daily, repetitive, and boring tasks such as groceries and deliveries. Kind of put some jobs at risk now that I think about it. That's pretty convenient, but do we need that? Elon Musk is a person that's been prone to make bold statements about the future, so, do take this news with a grain of salt here. A prototype would likely be ready next year, so maybe Elon Musk and Tesla will actually be able to pull this off, but we'll see. But what do you guys think about this one? Have you heard about this before? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know if you like this one. All right, let's jump into the news. Democratic House Representative and House Progressive Caucus leader Pramila Jayapal is slamming conservative Democrats over threats of the reconciliation bill. Now, this stimulus bill is now in the hands of House members, and there seems to be a lot of fighting among Democrats. What's happening now is that Pramila Jayapal has gone and slammed these conservatives. But let's get to the details here. Addressing the 9 conservative House Democrats threatening to vote down their party's $3.5 trillion budget resolution, Representative Pramila Jayapal of Washington said Sunday that there's nothing moderate about tanking an effort to expand Medicare, invest in green energy development, and establish long overdue paid family and medical leave programs. We can't call people moderate Democrats if they vote against childcare, paid leave, healthcare, and addressing climate change, Jayapal, chair of the nearly 100-member Congressional Progressive Caucus, wrote on Sunday. This is the Democratic agenda. It's the president's agenda, and it's what we promise people across America. Now we must deliver. Now, there seems to be a conflict of interest among the Democrats right now, as the progressives, they want to push President Biden's agenda. Their main goal through the reconciliation bill is to establish many programs to help the people directly. Now, these are the stimulus provisions that we've been talking about for the past few months now, which do include Medicare expansion, universal pre-K, lower drug prices, possible 4th stimulus checks, free community college, childcare, and a lot more. For Pramila Jayapal and the progressives, these are the most important priorities that they must work on as soon as possible. However, the group of 9 conservatives is opposed to the plan by the progressives. Now, before Pramila Jayapal's comments, which I mentioned earlier, these conservatives, aka moderates, they sent a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Now, in that letter, they stated their threat to not vote for the Senate-passed budget resolution until the House first approves the infrastructure bill. Basically, they're saying no infrastructure bill now, no reconciliation bill later. Pramila Jayapal also expands on the statement by their caucus here. Our caucus is clear. The bipartisan bill will only be passed if a package of social, human, and climate infrastructure reflecting long-standing Democratic priorities is passed simultaneously through budget reconciliation, according to Jayapal last week. In order to begin crafting a reconciliation bill that can pass Congress without Republican support, both the House and Senate must first approve an identical budget resolution that sets the spending boundaries of the legislation. Last week, the Senate passed a $3.5 trillion budget resolution, and the House is expected to take up the measure when members return from recess next week. Yes, so that will remain the agenda in the House. We will certainly see about that. There's a lot of tension among the Democrats in the House right now, so things might not go as smoothly as expected. Remember, the progressives want the infrastructure bill and the $3.5 trillion stimulus package to pass together to ensure that they actually get both. Now, if they allow the infrastructure bill to move forward first, we might not see the stimulus package garner enough votes, ultimately leading to a failure of passage for the bill. On top of that, the reconciliation bill is one of President Biden's main agendas, and they want to make sure to get this done sooner than later.
If we are going to build back better, we have to do all of these things at the same time because the urgency is so real. The need for childcare, the need for paid leave, healthcare, and of course, addressing climate change, given the IPCC's report that just came out, this is not something that can wait around. So we want to deliver both bills to the president in September and have him sign them into law so we deliver for the American people.
Is there a trust issue here? I mean, do you fear that if somehow the bipartisan deal, let's say, look, you come back and says, all right, I'll bring it up, let's go. Do you somehow fear moderates are going to walk away from you on the bigger bill?
Yeah, Chuck, you know how D.C. works. Everything works on timelines and everything works on making sure people have urgency and momentum to move quickly. The best way to keep the urgency and momentum up is to do both bills together and to make sure that everyone understands that whatever their priority is, whether it's in the infrastructure bill or whether it's in the Build Back Better reconciliation package, the way we get them done is to move them at the same time to the president's desk. Without that, you're going to have a lot of people trying to push for one piece and not voting for another piece. And that's true of progressives, but it's also true of Democrats who might not want to. One more thing, Chuck, I got to say, we can't call people moderate Democrats who vote against child care, paid leave, and addressing climate change. That is a Democratic agenda. It is the president's agenda, and it's what we promised.
I get it. So Jayapal basically makes it loud and clear for everyone. They want to get both bills done, and they will do so together, not separately. The infrastructure bill is due for a final vote in the House, and we're just waiting for the budget resolution to move forward. The stimulus bill is worth $3.5 trillion. So the big question is, could we see that fourth stimulus check coming soon? The possibility is not zero, and it could happen. Nothing's final until they actually get to the finish line. They could still make amendments at the last minute, and this is exactly what they did before in the previous stimulus package. I wouldn't count them out. But what do you guys think about this one, though? Do you think the Democrats can actually pull off the win? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Next, we got the U.S. government. They are set to eliminate more than $5.8 billion in student loan debt for borrowers with permanent disabilities. Now, this is actually a new round of student loan debt forgiveness by the administration, so this is excellent news. Could there be more to come?
Some good news here for more than 300,000 Americans. The Biden administration is erasing student debt for people with disabilities that left them unable to earn significant incomes.
It amounts to more than $5 billion in debt. You have to be considered totally or permanently disabled to qualify. Those people will face a 3-year monitoring period, but don't have to prove income. As for those who don't qualify, nearly 2/3 of borrowers take a look with just one lender are underwater on their loan. That's according to the Center for Responsible Lending. In many cases, they've continued to make payments on their loans. Even so, 1/3 owe more than 125% on their original balance. The major factor is interest capitalization. That's when borrowers have to pay interest on their interest.
A lot of this is caused by borrowers going into new plans, by borrowers who are coming out of default, having their interest capitalized.
Center for Responsible Lending says many times borrowers are paying based on their income. Well, that's how it usually works, right? The National Consumer Law Center says the payments don't often cover the interest. U.S. Department of Education does plan on look at rewriting those regulations in October.
Let's get into the details here. It says here the Biden administration is wiping out more than $5.8 billion in student loans for more than 323,000 borrowers who are permanently disabled, the latest step in the government's piecemeal efforts to lessen the burden for millions of adults who are struggling to repay their debts. The Education Department said Thursday it will automatically discharge loans for borrowers with total and permanent disabilities by matching borrowers' files with Social Security Administration records. A similar policy has been in place since 2019 for those deemed disabled via the Department of Veterans Affairs. Borrowers found to have total and permanent disabilities are generally limited in their ability to work and repay the loans. In fact, President Biden's administration has done a few rounds of student loan debt forgiveness already. This new round worth $5.8 billion worth of student loan debt forgiveness is actually the fifth and the latest round, which is part of their effort to help millions of struggling student loan borrowers settle their balances. Now, it is not a mystery as to why they're doing this. To be honest with you, the fact that they're actually doing more rounds of student loan debt forgiveness is very encouraging. This means that the government is ready to give help to more people through this program. They're doing this per round, so we might actually see even more borrowers benefit from this. But who knows? That's just a possibility. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want to get your hopes up, but it is certainly possible. But let's continue. According to the press release, the change will go into effect in September, and borrowers will then be notified of their debt discharges, and the department expects all discharges to occur before the end of the year. Student loan debt relief under President Biden now stands at approximately $8.7 billion for about 455,000 borrowers. Comment down below if you have student loans that you would love to have forgiven. I'm just wondering how many members of my audience would actually be affected by potential widespread student loan debt forgiveness. Hit me up in the comments below. But we're expecting to see this big round of student loan debt forgiveness next September. So if you think that you might be eligible for this, or you know someone who could be, go ahead and apply for this now at the government student loan debt forgiveness official website. And also share this video maybe on Facebook with anyone who might be potentially eligible for student loan debt forgiveness. We got to look out for people in our community. Remember, this does not apply to everyone yet. This particular fifth round of student loan debt forgiveness is only for borrowers with permanent disabilities. But like I mentioned earlier, there could be a possibility of having universal student loan debt forgiveness in the future, but it's not happening just quite yet. But what do you guys think about this one though? Hit me up in the comments below. All right, so President Biden has just announced that they will not seek to extend enhanced $300 unemployment benefits past September 6th. Hate to break the news to you guys. This particular boost has helped millions of Americans during this. So, why are they making this decision is the question. All right, let's find out here. It says here that the President Biden's administration won't seek to reinstate enhanced weekly $300 unemployment benefits set to expire on September 6th, and is instead urging states that want to continue their extra payments to use their share of the rescue funds. Remember the $350 billion that went out to states and local governments? That money. The temporary $300 boost in benefits will expire on September 6th as planned. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Labor Secretary Marty Walsh co-wrote in a letter to lawmakers on Thursday. As President Biden has said, the boost was always intended to be temporary, and it is appropriate for that benefit boost to expire. Well, he made a call, he made a choice here. This seems to be a final decision by the administration, and it's likely they will not be bringing this up again anytime soon. The reason for not extending this boost may likely be the unemployment rate.
They say there are always more fish in the sea, but Louisiana fisherman Nate Phillips can only wish it was so for employees.
I've got 2 guys here besides myself. Normally I have 7.
12 months ago, the US was reeling from an unemployment spike not witnessed since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Now it's dropped again to 5.4% after nearly 1 million jobs were added in July, following similar strong gains in June. It means the US is edging back to what economists call full employment. And in Louisiana, fishermen can't find enough hands on deck.
We have to use temporary agencies to get people to come in, and it's hard to get them even today.
The scarcity of employees is holding some businesses back as the economy rolls back to life. These kind of economic numbers should be encouraging after the devastation, but there's a flip side to all this. Employers here in the US are struggling to fill some 9.2 million jobs, so they're competing for staff, and that's contributing to wage growth. Hourly wages rose by just under 0.5% last month. Great for employees, but it puts additional pressure on those employers. And President Biden is aiming to create even more jobs through a $1 trillion infrastructure upgrade.
It's a bill that would end years of gridlock in Washington and create millions of good-paying jobs. Put America on a new path to win the race for the economy in the 21st century.
And yet some experts are concerned that wage pressure, combined with inflation, is putting the economy in danger of overheating.
Unemployment has dropped to 5.4%, and many states have already opted out of their benefits. Some even believe that these benefits disincentivize the unemployed to find a job and get back to work. Take note, many of these states pulling out are led by Republican governors. I'm not trying to place a bias here or anything like that, but I'm just calling out what is true. On the other hand, several Democratic lawmakers are also not in support of these extensions. So they're actually seeing eye to eye with the Republican governors of states that kind of ended the unemployment benefits early. A notable senator would be Joe Manchin, who has gone on the record to say that he's done with extensions. However, the call for benefits could still be alive. Check this out. Even as the economy recovers, Yellen and Walsh said it may make sense for unemployed workers to continue receiving additional benefits in states where unemployment remains high. They said the rise in the Delta variant may also pose short-term challenges to local economies and labor markets. For states that want to keep benefits going, the administration is emphasizing that states can use their portions of $350 billion in direct aid from the American Rescue Plan. So if they choose to, states can actually still implement their own unemployment programs with funding that they received from the previous stimulus package. Talking about that $350 billion that came from the American Rescue Plan. So, I can see this happening with states where there are high levels of maybe, the $350 billion of aid from the third stimulus check package is still a very large, considerable amount of money that could help things afloat for some states. But what do you guys think about this though? Will states actually implement their own programs for unemployment aid? Question for you guys, is your state already implementing one that will go beyond September 6th? Hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to know how many of my audience's states are actually taking their portion of that $350 billion from the third stimulus check package and actually extending their own unemployment benefits in their state. All right, let's end this with a video from President Biden himself speaking about unemployment benefits.
This one-time investment is a real answer to a real problem our economy is facing right now. Well, look, fifth thing we're going to do, we're going to make it clear that anyone collecting unemployment who is offered a suitable job must take the job or lose their unemployment benefits, so that people aren't forced to choose between their basic safety and a paycheck. But otherwise, that's the law. I know there's been a lot of discussion since Friday's report, that people are being paid to stay home rather than go to work. Well, we don't see much evidence of that. That is a major factor. We don't see that. Look, it's easy to say, the line has been, because of the generous unemployment benefits, that it's a major factor in labor shortages. Americans want to work. Americans want to work. As my dad used to say, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity, your place in the community, being able to look your kid in the eye and say everything's going to be okay. I think the people who claim Americans won't work, even if they find a good and fair opportunity, underestimate the American people. So we'll insist that the law is followed with respect to benefits, but we're not going to turn our backs on our fellow Americans.
So anyway, guys, that's all for your news on the fourth stimulus check update, recurring stimulus check update, Pramila Jayapal's response to moderates' threats to the reconciliation bill, the U.S. government's new round of student loan debt forgiveness, and President Biden's announcement that they will not be extending unemployment aid past September 6th. What are you guys thinking about all that we covered today? I just want to thank you guys so much for liking this video and for being a part of the family by subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the join button and be a part of our membership program.